Hey guys, I'm back with another PvP tips video, and this is a question I see asked online a lot. How do I find an active server? It's really a bummer when you want to PvP, but you just can't find other players. Here are some tips you can use that will hopefully help you track down some people. Okay, so the first step in finding a populated server is to actually check the server's Emissary Tables. And really quickly, what an emissary is that once you reach rank 15 or you pay 20,000 gold to either the Merchant Alliance, the Gold Hoarders, the Order of Souls, Athena's Fortune, or the Reaper's Bones, you can represent them as an emissary, which means you'll get increased rep and gold when turning in loot. But be careful because it also makes you a target. Anyway, every crew that is flying an emissary for that faction will be represented by a toy boat on the table, and that's one boat per crew. So you can see here that there is one crew flying the Merchant Alliance emissary flag. This can be a great way to gauge how busy a server actually is. However, just because there's no emissaries doesn't mean the server's dead. It just means that there's nobody doing an emissary on that server. So the only way to know for sure that there's people on a server is to look out for the toy boats. I will normally try and find a server that has at least 2 emissaries before I go start trying to find people. Currently, the maximum amount of players per server is limited to 5 ships. So if you've already fought everyone, it might be a good idea to change servers. Another good way to find people besides checking emissary tables is to just look at your map. That's the best way to track Reaper emissaries. You might see a boat flying the Reaper's Mark flag. You can look for Reaper chests marked on the map and see if they're moving. That's also how you can see if a Fort of the Damned is active, is if you see any Reaper chests at the Fort of the Damned island. However, that will also be marked by a giant skull in the sky with red eyes. Just a quick side note, when I actually went to fight this Reaper, I was getting ready for a really good fight and got killed by lightning. Thanks, Rare.
Oh shit, that's unlucky. Hey, good content, man. Watch your content on YouTube.
Speaking of giant skulls in the sky, if you don't feel like sailing around just to look for people, you can always try to head towards world events, something like Flameheart or the Ashen Winds event with the big red vortex. There won't always be people there, but it's worth a shot sometimes. So if you join a server and you don't have a specific target and you just want to try and find other people, what I'll usually do is I'll actually make a loop around the edge of the map. This, for me, in my experience, is probably the most efficient way to search for players. And you might think it better to go straight down the middle, but if you do that, you're leaving out all of these edges where there could be people hiding. So the usual route I take is a bit of a triangle, and I like to keep it between Sanctuary, Galleons, Plunder Outpost, and then I'll usually go back around. This is pretty good sight lines on most of the map. However, there also could be people hiding in the Devil's Roar, which is why I don't really like the Devil's Roar. It's so far out of the way. So it's really up to you if you want to go explore that side of the map. I'll usually server hop unless there's an Athena and I can't find them. So that's up to you. So if you're lucky enough to find a server with an Athena emissary, the route I'll normally take to try and track them down involves a mixture of the islands from the Gilded Athena voyage, a Thieves Haven Run voyage, and an Ashen Athena voyage. So currently for the Gilded Athena voyage, you have to go to Lone Cove and Crook's Hollow. Obviously for the Thieves Haven Run, you have to go to Thieves Haven. And I'll normally start at Lone Cove, make my way down to Crook's Hollow, and then down to Thieves Haven, looking for a ship the entire way that's flying an emissary flag. And if after all of that I don't find anyone, I will go into the Devil's Roar and search there. So when sailing around looking for other players, it's pretty obvious that you're going to have to keep an eye out for other ships. And if you notice, ships are shaded much darker than islands or rocks, so keep that in mind. Also, this is what a ship with an emissary flag looks like before it renders in. Boats don't properly render until you get close enough. So if you notice, this boat has its sails all the way down, but that's not actually true. This is just how boats look before you get close enough. Watch when I get close enough, it shows you its sails are actually raised, and the emissary flag is not as obvious. Oh yeah, and that chime you just heard, that means that the ship you're looking at actually is an emissary. And don't forget, don't accidentally confuse skeleton ships for other players. They will be covered in lights. The skeleton sloop will have a bunch of scaffolding on the back of it, while the skeleton galleon will have very rickety looking sails. Lastly, a really good skill you can learn is being able to recognize when a boat in the distance is actually a new spawn, which is probably not worth your time. When you spawn into an outpost, you should try and remember where the dock is in relation to the island and how your boat is positioned when it spawns in. This is Galleon's Grave, and I can tell this boat is positioned perfectly at the dock, which means it's a new spawn, and I'm not going to waste my time going after it. Okay, that's all I've got for today. I stream every weekday and most weekends at twitch.tv/blurbs. If you have any other questions or you just want to come hang out and say what's up, please feel free to stop by. Thank you for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed the video.